Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. I'm so glad you're here, you guys. Oh, I had to pull pictures of Harry throwing a tantrum for this one. I'm excited to get into this one today. I'm excited to share this with you. So here's the deal. I had recorded this for Patreon. Jay and I got into a conversation about this news coming out about Harry and this actor, Dominic West. And I'm sure you've heard the story, but don't worry, even if you haven't, I explain it in the video. But it ended up being so much fun and so funny. We ended up getting this big conversation about Harry and Meghan and how they ditch everybody and every weirdness over the press. So it ended up being a bigger conversation. So I thought, you know what? I do want to share this with you. So we're going to take a listen. Again, we had originally recorded this for Patreon, and you'll hear when we record for Patreon, we're a little looser, we're a little freer. We just kind of talk crap about them and have fun. So that's what you'll hear in this video. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks so much for being here. Honk, honk, everybody. Hey guys, welcome back to Patreon. We are so glad you're here. You guys, there's a story going around that we really want to talk about and just kind of give our what's unedited thoughts, our deep thoughts on, and just kind of have a conversation with you all about it because it's ridiculous, but it involves Harold of Harold and Frauds, well, and Fraud too, but mostly Harold. So of course it's going to be ridiculous. But speaking of ridiculous, say hi.
Hi, this is Jay, also known as Dr. Bad Vibes. You can find me on YouTube and Twitch, but now you can find me here.
So guys, I'm sure you've seen this story going around. So I just thought we could have a conversation about it. It's this, let me just read you the headline. All right, it says, the Crown actor Dominic West reveals he's no longer talking to Prince Harry. All right, I'm going to just fill you in on what happened in case you don't know, and then Jay and I are going to get into a conversation because we have lots of thoughts about this. Okay, so this is Dominic West. If he looks familiar, that's because he's been in everything. We didn't stick with it, but we watched The Affair for a little bit, and he was pretty good in that. He's on, of course, The Crown, playing Charles. He was in Stranger Things. He's been in a lot of stuff. Anyway, very familiar guy, right? So because he's playing Charles in The Crown, it sounds like, the way I'm understanding this is, he was asked, oh, I know you were close with Harry. Did you consult him on playing Charles in The Crown? And Dominic it sounds to me like he was pretty nice about it, but basically ended up saying, no, we don't really, he says we sort of lost touch, right? And then he elaborates and says, I said too much at a press conference, so we didn't really speak after that. All right, so I was like, what did he say? It's so not anything, but I want to go into it because it leads to something. So apparently in 2013, they both worked together for that Walking with the Wounded charity. They ended up doing a trip with injured veterans through Antarctica. And I was thinking, is this the one with his toddler? I don't know. We'll get into that. Jay's chomping at the bits to do that accent and talk about Harry's wiener. That's not a sentence I can say very often.
Oh boy, wiener.
Hold your horses. Apparently after doing that, whatever it was, Walking with the Wounded charity thing, Dominic was like I forget where he said, at a press conference, something like that. He was asked, how did it go with Harry at this charity event? And Dominic said some really nice things. He ended up saying that Harry was really good at building latrines. And I know you'd think, well, that sounds mean. But no, he was actually paying a compliment, saying he knew how to build them and keep the wind off, and even built like a loo roll holder, that sort of thing. Well, again, I'm paraphrasing, but it sounds like it was just one of those questions you get asked. Dominic answered, paid Harry a compliment about, I don't know, his abilities to build a latrine, whatever. And I think he was just saying, like, he was a good sport. He was out there with everybody else. That's the way I'm interpreting. So nothing, right? It was kind of a compliment to Harry. But then, apparently, Harry got pissed. He didn't like that Dominic spoke to the press and decided, okay, that's that, and cut him off, haven't spoken to him since. So again, this story in itself is kind of a nothing burger, like, well, that's weird. But Jay and I got to talking more about it, about Well, no, that's really weird. And so we just thought we could have a conversation. So I wanted to set the stage so you understood the story that's going around and what they're talking about. Okay, so Jay, hearing that story, what are your thoughts? What are Harry's thoughts? What do you think's going on here?
Well, my immediate first reaction when I kind of got the Cliff Notes version off air here, I was like, what the hell kind of charity are they doing in Antarctica? Are there too many polar bears without Coca-Cola? And then I realized, oh, okay, I get it. So they're doing it for, it's to draw attention. It's kind of like, when the Ice Bucket Challenge raised so much money for ALS, it's like, well, let's just get the biggest chunk of ice in the world. That'll get all the attention. But I'm not trying to make light of a charity. I mean, I'm glad they did that.
Yes.
But again, things involving Harry just got weird for no real reason.
Yeah.
I mean, so what? It's like sounded like he was kind of complimenting his, I guess, survival skills in a way. I mean, that's something we had to do a train in Boy Scouts at some point. I don't know if we got a badge for it.
Don't you just dig a hole in the ground?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of just dig a ditch. We don't really build a wall with a toilet paper holder. I can't remember. I don't think we didn't even get a cool badge with like, a yellow river with chunks in it.
Ew!
So he got more recognition than I did, and I'm jealous. But I mean, it totally didn't sound like a dig. I don't know. It's so weird, his relationship with the press. It's like if anyone but him has any say, I won't allow it.
Yes.
No more free speech. It's unconscious bias.
That's right.
But I did also immediately wonder, it's like, oh, he's somewhere cold. How was that torture?
Oh.
It was oscillating.
Ew.
My penis was oscillating.
Oh.
So, yeah, that was pretty much all my initial thoughts.
Any excuse he has to do that, my penis is oscillating, he does it. Just use your imagination there. But, I hear that a lot. Yeah, I can't agree with you more. I think you're exactly right. To me, it just sounds like, honestly, my first thought is, whoa, that dude's so stupid. To my Harry, I'm surprised he could build anything, let alone, like, I don't know, a latrine. I'm truly surprised he was able to do anything, and I honestly doubt he did. I figured his guys or whoever, his helpers, were there doing it for him, and he's just there to take credit. But regardless, it sounds like nothing. It sounds like Dominic was trying to promote the charity and, I don't know, rib Harry a little bit or pay him a compliment, whatever he was doing. It doesn't warrant being cut off by the press, but it leads to a bigger conversation of those two. Seriously, they are the worst. It's stories like this, the little ones, that behind the scenes ones that we didn't know about before that paint a bigger picture what dicks these two are. And to Jay's point, his weird relationship with the press and controlling things. I'm so used to Meghan being the worst, and she is, that it's interesting when we see Harry participating like this as well. So it led me to thinking about Meghan and her weird relationship and basically estranging her dad and her family because of the press, which I've talked about on record before. I think it's total bullshit. I think she arranged that. She set up her dad. It gave her a reason not to talk to him. There you go. It all works out for the big old victims, right? But this is just weird to me. I'm kind of stuck on the story because, again, I just think it's a bigger picture thing.
Yeah, the thing I keep thinking about is his seeming hatred of free speech. And this is something I would only qualify it as hearsay because I don't remember where I read it or heard it, but I think he's like actively lobbying like some, like a senator, a congressman, whoever. I honestly don't remember the details, and I may be totally wrong. Saying like, hey, we should look at free speech. Maybe we should, undo that.
He's part of the Aspen Institute, where I believe they fund that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
If I understand it correctly.
Yeah. I've heard it a few times, so please correct that if I'm wrong. But the gist of it is like, no more free speech. It's unconscious bias.
Only for us.
Only for us. We can say anything and not be wrong.
That's right.
That's just insane.
Yeah.
like if anybody said that like at work, like your boss is like, okay, I'll take suggestions, but only from me. If you give any, like, you're fired. It's like, what?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I see it, and just the knee-jerk reaction. It's just like, some other celebrity guy that you did charity
Yeah.
with. He's just like trying to share an anecdote. I mean, it's kind of like being on a late night, whether it's a charity or, more commonly a movie you're involved in. You share a silly story and the people are like, oh, hey, that's that thing. And
Yeah.
then they pay attention to it. In this case, rather than buying a ticket, they maybe donate some money. And like, oh, yeah, that's for, military. Okay. Instead, it's like, don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Don't talk about it. I made poo-poo roll.
Poo-poo roll.
So, I don't know. It's just, I mean, I guess I guess this is part of the intrigue. Like, we can't follow this thought process.
Yeah. You're exactly right. And he's such a dum-dum. If he would just stop and take a breath, you're so right about he could turn it into like you say, an anecdote, one of those movie set type things or charity set type things, whatever. And be like, yeah, I'm pretty good at that. Something like, just laugh it off or something. Then it would make you seem more personable, more of a human being. And he can't do it. He's so fixated on the press, he can't do it. He can't get out of his own way. That's both of them. But God, too, I think part of this that fascinates me too is it's like the two worst people have found each other. The two people insanely obsessed with the press have found each other, and this is the awfulness that has ensued since.
Yeah, and that's a very good point too. I guess that's another, I don't know, piece of the the curiosity that everybody has with this. It's like, I mean, really think about it. What if we think of take your preference if you like Marvel or DC, whether you like the Flash or you like
No one cares.
Loki changing. Think of an alternate timeline or a parallel universe where he's not this. And somebody is in that position where they're like, oh, hey, I could have a charity and draw all kinds of attention to something that really needs attention and help some people and not be crazy about it.
Yes.
Or torpedo everything about it or try to make it about themselves. If you had all these resources behind you and you were like, hey, I could do some good. And then you just shut up and did it and showed up to your functions without writing books about your dong. Like... I mean...
Yeah, that's their whole MO.
We would be having a whole different discussion right now.
That's right. Can you imagine? What if on the live stream for the Red Cross, you had decided to become a dick, pick a fight with me, make it about yourself, and tell everybody that's donating, shut up. That's basically what he did.
Yeah, shut up. You don't know anything. I'm the greatest. I'll be outside.
Me.
I'm going to go dig a ditch and poop in it outside.
By the way, if you ever talk to me or any of us like that, I'd throw you in that poop ditch.
Well, fortunately, I won't because I have at least a little bit of humanity. I mean, like, being so overprotective and weird about a charity is just, I don't know, it's just bonkers. I mean, it'd be one thing if the guy was talking shit about it, but he was talking about the shit removal aspect of it in a way, but like nothing about that sounded like it was insulting. It was just like, hey, here's a fun anecdote. It's like, oh, he's really good at that. That's weird. I mean, I assume it's something he picked up in, military time or whatever. Yeah. And that could have tied into you could have tied that story into the whole charity rather than, him telling him to shut up and never speak again. Harry could have come out and been like, oh yeah, that's something I learned. And, that's one of those things that, makes me think of my time and the people that need help and blah, 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 blah. So many better responses than, ugh. Don't speak about anything.
But again, that's just their thing. There's always better responses, and these two always pick the worst possible option. Always. And so here we are, once again, worst possible options. Hey, that should be their names, worst possible options. Oh, goodness. I don't know. Any more thoughts on this? Any charity you would like to bash or take credit for or anything from the press you'd like to bash? I don't know.
I was like, what's the worst thing I could say?
Those kids and their knees.
Those kids, like, look at me, not those kids.
Oh, my God.
Oh, now I feel bad.
No.
What was I saying?
These two are the worst.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, that's an example of what not to say.
Yeah.
So think of that and don't do that,
Yes.
or don't even think about that. Just be good and don't. You don't have to think about. You don't have to think about like, oh hey, I probably shouldn't say awful things. Just don't have that coded into your DNA, I guess.
Don't marry that one and don't be like this one.
Oh gosh, yeah, like something so benign has turned into. I mean, we're discussing it, and when you really break it apart, it's just like God. Like just some dude wanted to talk about the charity he did something for it. It's like, no, how dare you?
I'll never speak to you again.
Oh gosh.
I hope Dominic ends up being best friends with William then and gives Harry the finger. How about that? And I don't care about Dominic either way. I just think it's funny.
Yeah, like I mean, I'm barely aware of this guy. I don't watch a whole lot of stuff, but I know he's been in things. But yeah, it's like it's just the whole thing's just it's so silly. I don't even know really what else to say about it.
So tell everybody where to find you.
Well, you can find
Building latrines.
you can find me in the backyard pooping in a ditch, but not quite as skillfully. But you can find me on YouTube doing video games, also on twitch.tv/DrBadVibes playing video games. But if you're not into video games, check out Dr. Bad Vibes Speaks, where guess what? I speak. I talk about dumb news. I'm trying to edit together my Die Hard video now, so hopefully I'll have that up soon. Yippee-ki-yay, mother flockers.
There you go. Oh, you guys, as the ridiculousness continues, I'll continue to talk about it. Thank you as always for supporting and being here. I want you to know how much it means to me. Thank you so much for your lovely messages, your kind messages. You're wishing us a Merry Christmas and all the things. I've tried to write as many of you back as I possibly can. I'm still playing catch up on that. I'll be honest with you, I'm going a little slower this week. My kid's home, so I'm going to be spending time with the Gosling. So if I'm not as active in comments, that's all it is. But I truly appreciate all of you who have taken the time to rate. I'm trying to respond to you. And just thank you for all the things. I can't wait to bring you more ridiculous stuff like this. I hope you all had a Merry Christmas. I hope you all have a Happy New Year. And I can't wait to see what else these idiots do. I can't wait to make fun of it with you. Thank you for everything. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.